One thing I guess I would like to get your answer on, is like I ask everyone who comes on the pod is like, what advice would you give others that are maybe watching that may be interested in pursuing entrepreneurship or the startup, or maybe even, being in the investor side? Like, what advice would you have for them from your journey, your personal experience?
With the caveat that advice is always very specific to anyone's circumstances and goals, I would say something that kind of just looking back on what has been important for just my personal career growth and overall personal happiness, having a backup plan that allows you to take real risk is super important. So again, this will be different for everyone depending on their circumstances, but my sister and I often joke about why our lives are so difficult sometimes, right? It always feels like we're doing really hard things professionally. And it sort of dawned on me that we've had the privilege of kind of skipping a step in the immigrant journey, right? Often you go from survival mode to stability, then you have the luxury of fulfillment. And we've kind of gone from the survival mode straight to the fulfillment. Yeah. And I think a big part of why we've been able to do that, or at least I'll speak for myself, is because barring some sort of major catastrophe, I've always kind of known that I have backup plans. So one of the things I did when I was in college is I did a lot of private tutoring, and I ended up running a small test prep center. And so when I was figuring out where I kind of wanted to focus full time, I was like, well, if this whole venture thing doesn't work out, I can always go back to tutoring. Make money pretty fast, keep the lights on, figure out the next thing. So whether it's something like that, or it's bartending, or it's just having savings, or a couch you can crash on, I think just having that buffer and knowing what's the worst that can happen, right? Knowing that there's some buffer there is really helpful, because then you don't have to settle for sort of the lower risk, more stable things. So that's the extent to which you can control that. I think having a backup plan and acknowledging it can be really helpful. And then the other thing I would say is, this is similar to the point about it really just depends what your goals are. One of the things that's been both really challenging and really rewarding about my path is that I've always been pretty focused on doing it on my own terms and not sacrificing on certain principles. And in any industry that you're in, but I can really speak for venture, there are a lot of games that are being played. There's a lot of politics, there's a lot of navigating other people's constraints, egos, etc. And it's been really interesting to see if we're going to be able to do this on our own terms. So I think for anyone who has the luxury, I think it's a fun challenge to see if you can do things your way without compromising on the things that are really important to you. We'll see. The jury's kind of still out. Well, we're still pretty early in this venture game, given time horizon. But I don't know. I would definitely give people the advice of trying to do it that way, because it's very, very interesting.
That's awesome. To your first point about just the backup plan, I read a lot, as you can tell, just books. Yeah. One of the really interesting story that kind of resonates with that, what you said, was about Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he was starting out in the industry, he was actually he had a sizable real estate portfolio when, he was Arnold, the guy, and Hollywood was not kind of looking for that profile. He didn't have to take, kind of change himself, lose weight and stuff like that to kind of fit whatever Hollywood was looking for. He could live off his real estate investment and then wait for the right opportunity. And then when it came, he kind of created his own category of genre of movies. So 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.